All right, hi everybody, John Meadows back with Eugene, and today, well, we just finished training, chest, shoulders, tris, bis, and back, rhomboids, lats, traps. We did it all, forearms. So Eugene and I did a really cool shoulder exercise that I wanted to share with you. I thought, oh, this is fantastic. Let's share this with my fellow YouTubers. So what are we doing here?
All right, we're going to be working with a slight variation of your typical dumbbell flappy arm movement for this middle deltoid, this side middle deltoid for width. And we're going to do a couple of adjustments to your torso and using a bench to try to remove your traps from the exercise to help you isolate this a little bit more. Common complaint is people feeling their traps a lot. And the traps tend to dominate the movements. Now, first of all, it's not bad that the traps work in an arm flapping motion. They're meant to work some. But if they're starting to dominate, you feel a lot to your neck, maybe we can adjust your positioning to help align your middle delt fibers a little bit more to help you feel them and use them a little bit better. So what we have here is an incline bench set quite high. So this is above 45 degrees. And John's going to kneel on the bench and go face down. So first thing that's happening already is you can't swing and use as much momentum, you're a lot more stable. But what I'm looking at, even without the weight to begin with, let go of that for a moment, is this is putting his middle deltoid right here into a direct line of pull to really find a position where it completely shortens and contracts. You can't necessarily get into that position in a typical upright side lateral raise. So if you put John's arm up here, if he was to now be completely upright, so lean back upright for us instead, you can't really get into that same position with a typical arm flap, so we need to be inclined forwards. So motion is forwards, raising straight out, in a slight Y position, thinking about these middle delt fibers pulling towards the mid-back line. Again, you can see on John, his traps are working some, and they're meant to work some. But due to the positioning, you're going to get a lot more of the mid-back helping to stabilize this shoulder blade to allow for better output through these mid-delt fibers. So we do want some freedom of movement here. It's the angle itself that targets this middle deltoid region a lot more than your typical standing arm flap. How's that feel?
Burning. So one thing I wanted to mention was for probably, oh man, probably 5-6 years at least, if not more, I've struggled with when I'm doing shoulder work and even back work, if my traps get engaged, I get really bad headaches. I don't know if that's the levator, scapular, whatever that is, but this has always been a challenge for me to really get my shoulders isolated. And honestly, I do not feel those in my traps, so I really, really like those. And I get questions from YouTube all the time, people saying the same thing. I can only feel my traps, I can't feel anything in my shoulders. But I really like those. Like, I don't feel anything in my traps right now.
Right.
And it feels like I can kind of take my traps out of it when I do side laterals, but it requires a lot of effort and a lot of thought. Whereas that just feels kind of natural.
Yeah.
I don't have to really think about it. I can just focus on the movement, I can work hard and I can execute without sitting there and thinking, you know what I mean? So that's a really good movement.
That's what I think is so powerful about something like this. It's such a simple substitution and it requires a lot less mental effort to be trying to remove your traps from a side lateral raise. You shouldn't have to think about that. It should just happen due to the setup of the exercise to make it be more delt and a lot less traps. So I'm glad you found that.
Same thing in the back exercises too. Like if I'm working on my back and the whole time I'm thinking, don't use your traps, don't use your traps. It's almost like a distraction.
It makes you weaker.
So yeah, it makes you weaker. So this is a fantastic exercise. I'm probably going to start doing a lot more of these myself. So look, so in our shoulder workouts in the future, you're going to be seeing a lot of these. So thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Great movement as always. Eugene teaching us the good stuff. And we'll see you next time.